I'm Charlotte McLeod with the Investing News Network, and here today with me is Felix Lee, President of PDAC. Thank you so much for being here online with me today.
It's great to be here, Charlotte.
Of course. So we're here to talk about the upcoming PDAC convention. And of course, things have changed drastically in the world since last year. I want to start by asking, in your opinion, how has COVID-19 impacted the resource space?
You know what? Our industry was impacted pretty much like every other industry. The onset of COVID-19 and the related lockdowns and various travel restrictions, it came all of a sudden, and so we were hit just like everyone else. It was unexpected. And we were all kind of scrambling, I suppose, to try and deal with the new reality. But I should say that as an industry, we are quite a resilient industry. We're used to working in difficult places as is, and so I think as an industry, we actually rebounded and adapted to the new reality, perhaps faster than other sectors. And so we've been doing okay, and it's also helped with the fact that the government has mandated mineral exploration and mining as an essential service, and so that has allowed exploration activities and mining operations to continue.
And with all of that in mind, what's your sense of sentiment in the resource space right now?
I would have to say it's actually quite positive. As I mentioned, exploration activities have been taking place. Mining operations have been going forward. It's kind of business as usual in a way. Notwithstanding the fact that yes, there are the additional health precautions and travel concerns that we're all dealing with. But I would have to say that overall the industry is quite positive in its outlook. So yeah.
Right. And of course, now the most exciting part, PDAC is going entirely online this year. I really want to ask you what it's been like to take such a large event online. What challenges did you face, but also perhaps what opportunities did you find as you went through this process?
You know what? Great question. I should first start by saying we're all really excited with the virtual event. It's history in the making, if you will, and I'll get back to that in a second. But it was challenging. We have a fantastic, very, very experienced convention team at PDAC, but they're used to in-person events. They've actually never hosted or actually prepared for a virtual event. So it was basically relearning the whole event process and how that works in the virtual world. And so I would be lying if I said it wasn't challenging, if it wasn't difficult. It was. It took us a while to even make the decision to go virtual. But here we are. And, we're really, really excited about the possibilities. And I think perhaps the biggest thing we're excited about is the fact that for the first time in our 89th year, pretty much anyone, no matter where you're in the world, what time zone you're in, you actually have the chance to attend the PDAC convention. And so we're hoping that those individuals who may have always wanted to come to the PDAC convention but never could because they couldn't afford the time, it was a long way to travel. Now they can. They can actually come to the event, and so we're really excited about that prospect. And I should also say that creating something virtual, creating something online, was always something we wanted to do. And now I guess in a rather strange way, COVID-19 has kind of made that wish to do something actually happen. And so again, it's been a challenge, but it's also been an opportunity. And here we are. We're on the eve of the first virtual PDAC convention ever.
Yeah, it's coming up really soon. And usually when we do these conversations before PDAC, I ask questions about advice for the event. Usually we get things like stay hydrated, make a plan. This year we have to ask, what is your advice for people who are going to be navigating this online platform? What should we know about that?
Well, our convention team has worked really hard to reproduce everything that you have come to expect from the PDAC convention. So the great programming, the networking opportunities, and most importantly, really just making sure that as as a user, the user experience is there. That everyone who attends the convention enjoys themselves, and so my advice is just to really take your time exploring as much as you can in the virtual environment. I should point out the fact that the content of the event will actually be made available. It'll continue to be available long after the PDAC convention is over. And so if you aren't able to catch a talk one day, you can always catch it another day, or you can even catch the presentations or go over or revisit that presentation after the convention is over. So you know what? My advice is take your time exploring, enjoy the event, enjoy it for all it's worth.
All right. And speaking of the content, what themes do you think will be emphasized this year? Are there any commodities that you see rising to the fore? How is that going to look?
Well, pretty much everything that we've had at the PDAC convention will be replicated in the virtual environment. So we're going to have our capital markets program, our sustainability program, our Indigenous program, our student and early career program. So there's really something for everyone else, everyone, as I should know. And and so it's going to be, it's great. And in terms of, things to maybe look out for, well, right now there's a lot of talk of, the minerals and metals that are going to be critical to, making that transition to the low carbon future. So, I expect perhaps there's probably going to be a lot of talk about that. The minerals and metals necessary, battery metals, and so we're hoping that there could be some really great presentations on that topic, and certainly Indigenous issues, social issues, environmental issues, they aren't going away. And so that side of the business is constantly evolving, constantly changing. And so there's always going to be new materials. And so there's a chance to kind of bring yourself up to speed on the very latest in all those areas. And so I guess long and short of it, there's pretty much everything is to look forward to at the PDAC convention.
Yeah, and one of my final questions was going to be about can't miss events. What do you have to make sure you're going to see? It does sound like that if you did miss something, you can always go back. So I'm not sure how this question works, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Yeah, you know what? I'll say the question doesn't work. There are no can't miss events because you can't miss anything. The content, the presentations will be available long after the event is over. And so perhaps maybe I should say, if there is one thing that you should take full advantage of is the networking opportunities. And how, and you might ask, how are we replicating the networking in a virtual event? Well, we're introducing something called customized matchmaking. And in this case, you can basically key into the system your interests, topics that you're looking to learn more about, people that you're maybe hoping to meet or see, and the system will actually make introductions on the basis of your interests. And so, in some ways, it's actually easier to meet people and network with people in the virtual environment than it is in person. And so, again, that's another feature about the upcoming event that we're really excited about.
It does sound very exciting. As we are finishing up, is there anything else you would want the audience to know about PDAC or even the mining industry at this point in time?
Well, I should say that the industry, business hasn't stopped. Business is continuing to move forward. It's a little harder to meet people and speak to people these days, notwithstanding the fact that we're all kind of zoomed out.
Yeah.
And so events like PDAC convention are all that much more important when it comes to networking and having the opportunity to meet people that you otherwise wouldn't have the chance to meet, learn about places that you otherwise wouldn't, it would be hard to learn about. And so, if you haven't already registered for the PDAC convention, I would encourage you to do so as soon as possible.
Perfect. Well, I think we can leave it there. Definitely very excited for the new online version of PDAC. And thank you for being here today to tell us a little bit more about it.
Thank you very much, Charlotte.
Once again, I'm Charlotte McLeod with the Investing News Network, and this is Felix Lee of PDAC.